Okay, so you want to know what's really going on with crypto, right? You want to get to the heart of it all without wading through all the noise.
Absolutely.
We hear you. That's why we're here today to do a deep dive into some of the biggest crypto developments recently,
Yep.
from market reactions and platform announcements to what's happening on the regulatory front. We're looking at it all to try and understand
Right.
what these rapid changes mean for the future of crypto and its role in the larger financial world.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things we're seeing is how the crypto market is reacting in some pretty unexpected ways to things happening in the wider economy.
Definitely.
Mm.
Like, take, for example, President Trump's recent tariff announcements. Typically, that kind of news would cause so-called risk assets to decline.
Right.
And we definitely saw that happen with traditional stocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you look at Bitcoin, and yeah, it dipped a little below $81,500.
Yeah, but then what happened?
Well, then it bounced back pretty quickly, too, up towards $84,000.
Right. So very different reactions there.
Very. And what's fascinating is that during those dips, we're actually seeing data that suggests long-term Bitcoin holders were buying more.
Hmm.
They seem to have a lot of faith in Bitcoin as a store of value, even when the rest of the market is getting spooked. This is actually,
Interesting.
yeah, this is the opposite of how traditional risk assets usually behave. Some analysts are even suggesting that this might be a sign of Bitcoin acting as a hedge against uncertainty in the traditional economy.
The safe haven.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that directly impacts everyday users like you guys.
Okay.
Major platforms like PayPal and Venmo,
Huge platform.
huge platforms, are now letting their U.S. users buy, hold, sell, and even transfer Chainlink, that's Link,
Right.
and Solana SOL.
Which are both.
Yeah, these are big players in the crypto world.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean? Well, for one thing, it makes these cryptocurrencies way more accessible.
Right. Millions more people can get their hands on them now.
Exactly. And it's not just about price fluctuations either. This is about making blockchain technology more useful and applicable in everyday life.
So we might start seeing more and more real-world use cases.
Precisely. And on that note of accessibility, Coinbase Derivatives is planning to launch XRP futures contracts.
They're targeting April 21st of next year,
2025.
2025, right after going through a process with the CFTC.
Right. And we've also seen XRP itself rebound above $2. So what does all this CFTC stuff actually mean in terms of oversight for these XRP futures?
Good question. So they've self-certified with the CFTC.
Yeah, basically that means that Coinbase has confirmed to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission that these contracts are meeting certain regulatory requirements before they get listed.
Makes sense.
This provides a more regulated way for both everyday investors and big institutional investors to get exposure to XRP.
Which is the fourth largest cryptocurrency by market cap.
That's right. It offers a more familiar investment vehicle for people who are more comfortable in regulated environments.
Now, even though we're seeing all these positive signs of adoption, it wasn't all sunshine and roses for crypto this week. U.S. crypto-related stocks like Coinbase itself, Robinhood, and even MicroStrategy saw declines after the tariff news.
Between 7 and 11%.
Why do you think there's this disconnect between how the actual cryptocurrencies are performing and how these stocks are doing?
That's an important question to ask. So while Bitcoin was showing its resilience, the decline in these stocks reflects how the broader market reacts to news like this. You know, the whole risk-off sentiment that comes with concerns about global trade.
So investors get nervous and pull back.
Exactly. And even though these companies work in the crypto space, they're still bound by those traditional market forces and investor worries about the overall economy.
It's a good reminder that the crypto world is still closely tied to what's happening in the traditional financial world.
For sure. However, the decentralized nature of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin means their value isn't directly linked to the performance of these centralized crypto companies, which might explain why we saw those different reactions.
Right. So different parts of the crypto world are reacting differently to the same global news.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, we have stablecoins, which have been showing some serious strength lately.
Yeah, Athena's USDTB has broken into the top 10.
Right. Ripple's RLUSD is leading the pack when it comes to activity relative to its size. And Circle's EURC has reached a new all-time high.
What do you think is driving this stablecoin surge?
Well, it's really interesting to see how stablecoins are maturing and becoming more useful. The success of EURC, for example, is not just about clearer regulations in Europe. It also points to a growing demand for euro-denominated digital assets, which could reflect changes in global trade finance or even just investor diversification strategies.
Makes sense.
Overall, the strength of these stablecoins shows just how vital they are within the crypto ecosystem. They offer a stable way to exchange and store value, which becomes even more important as regulatory frameworks become clearer around the world.
They're definitely proving their worth. So just to sum up for our listeners today, we've seen Bitcoin showing surprising strength in the face of global economic uncertainty. Major platforms are opening up access to altcoins like never before.
Right.
Regulated ways to invest in crypto or expanding crypto stocks are still vulnerable to those broader market jitters, and stablecoins are solidifying their role as a key part of the crypto world.
It's a really dynamic and rapidly changing landscape.
It really is.
And all this leads to a really important question that we want to leave you with today.
Happy.
With all these rapid developments, the resilience of decentralized assets, their increasing integration into traditional financial platforms, the growth of regulated options, how might this growing intersection of cryptocurrencies and traditional finance ultimately reshape how we think about economic stability and our own individual financial empowerment in the years to come?
Lots to think about there.
Lots to think about.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Of course.
Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.
See ya.
Bye.